Running a marathon needs a lot of patience, and that's what we take into the business. We started with selling racket items. That's the genesis of the name, Badek. That's how we scaled up and started selling outdoor items, which have now been a blessing to us. We feel honored that Absa has taken us up as the main suppliers. If Absa is able to trust us as a small shop, then it means that in whatever you do, in whatever effort that you're putting, someone else is watching. We have been able to keep our Olympic team that went to the Paris 2024. You need three values to excel. You need to be disciplined, you need to be consistent, and you need to be able to manage your time well.
As women entrepreneurs, there is a gender discrimination. It is rife, and I keep telling people, if you are a woman business person, you have to be above average to be able to compete with the average men. They wanted us to show that we had the financial muscle to do the distribution, and that is where Absa came in for me. The outlets we serve are the ones that are 700. Absa came in handy. They provided loans, asset financing loans, and I got to choose vehicles, according to their performance. They have shared my dreams and taken risks with me, and that is why I am where I am today.
My name is Christine Andenga. I work in the Learning and Development team at Human Capital. The EVP that resonates with me is contribution. For me, contribution is a part that I play in the team towards the greater achievement of the goals of the team. As a learning and development business partner, I contribute towards the development of colleagues across the enterprise functions by just giving them learning interventions that contribute to their upskilling. This has been beneficial in me seeing them perform better and grow in their career. Besides being a learning and development partner, I love sports. I am a sportswoman. I play for the bank, I play tug of war ladies, I play football for the girls, and I'm also an athlete. As an athlete, you have to be committed. You have to be determined. When I pass the baton, I'm not only handing over my part of the race, but also the spirit of determination, discipline, and commitment. Each stride that I make and each step that I take is towards the greater goal of the team. Together, we win as a team. We win not just to finish the race, but to uplift one another and to the greater success of the team. I am Christine Andenga. I am Absa.
My name is Leonida Anyosongongo. I'm at the complaints handling units, and in the office they call me Kanyos. I started working in Absa 10 years ago. It's been an incredible journey. I feel support from colleagues, I feel growth. So far where I am, at the complaints handling unit, I'm doing something that I love, solutioning customers. Having to see a customer smile after a complaint is something that speaks to me. I am grateful that Absa has given me this opportunity to see myself grow. Outside the office, I love traveling. I like touring different destinations, especially in Kenya, which I've not yet exhausted. My name is Anyoso. I am Absa.
My name is Kola Ithia, working in Absa Gilgil branch in the Rift Valley region. I've been in Absa for 6 years and I've been in the industry for 23 years. I started as a teller and grew up all the way to the branch manager role. When you talk of wellness, as a person, I take wellness as being physically fit and mentally fit to be able to do my job. I work for an organization which takes good care of its employees and genuinely minds about the wellness of its employees. In my organization, we are able to receive good medical care, mental wellness free of charge, and we are able to even have activities which enhance our mental wellness. As a leader, I take care of many employees. I'm happy when I'm working with energized and motivated staff because of the care on wellness which they get from the organization. My name is Kolaithia. I am Absa.
My name is Fathia Nordin. I'm the regional manager for Coast Region. My career in Absa started in April 11th, 2005 as a teller. I grew through the ranks to the level of Premier Relationship Manager in 2013, then the Regional Customer Experience Manager in 2014, and to currently where I am as a Regional Manager for Coast Region since October 2023. Key highlights in my career. In 2021, I was given a challenge to run Nyali branch and Nyali Premier Center. I picked the Nyali branch when it was at UP and consistently led the team to outstanding consistently in 2020 and 2021. The second highlight for me is in 2022, I took over a role as a senior dealer for Coast Region, a role I had never done before in my career, was never in my plans. But I led the Mombasa desk under global markets 2022 and 2023 and achieved a year-on-year growth of 389%. In my roles, the different roles I've done in the bank, the challenges I went through is one, when I was a dealer, I had gone for a 1-month stint training in January of 2022. And while I was there in the last Friday of my training, I received a call that my son had fainted and drowned in the swimming pool at school. And I'm in Nairobi and my kid is in Mombasa and he was a candidate for class 8 that year. So my boss then made arrangements for me to travel back to Mombasa and I left with the midnight flight from Mombasa that Friday and went straight to hospital to see my son, who was now okay but still fighting for his life. I think the second for me is when I took over Coast Region as a regional manager, I took over a region that had a lot of reputational damaging issues. I took over a region that had a culture subdivided and struggling with integrity and discipline and performance. And glad to say that I managed to turn that around, and in the process of turning around and rebranding the region, I ran with one of the pillars of uplifting and upskilling the colleagues and started the Coast She Mentorship Program, which is a flagship program that has never been done before in that region. So what did I learn out of these challenges as Fathia? One is that time when my son was rushed to hospital, I called my husband and he didn't pick. So then the next person I called was my colleagues the colleagues I had worked with in Premier Nyali, and it's my colleagues who were the first people to go to the hospital to be with my son until my husband went to the hospital late in the night. So that challenge and the learnings I pick is we are lucky that we work in an organization that has a very rich culture of strong bonds between colleagues, because one, my colleagues are my first family, and there's that care and connection that drives us as a unit to achieve what we achieve in our daily lives. And two, the reason that I've succeeded in the different roles that I've done in the bank is I keep my clients' relationship close. So it's through the close client relationships that I've been having that my clients have walked the journey with me in the different roles that I've transitioned within the bank. So what message do I have for everyone who's listening to my story, both in your personal life and in your career? And one thing I want to leave you with is nothing is impossible. It all starts with you. when you set your mind to do something, the universe will work with you to achieve what you want. 2, determination, discipline, and consistency is key. You must be aware of what you want in life, go for it, and be consistent with a lot of discipline in getting it. And 3, maintain relationships, treat others with a lot of humility and respect. My name is Fathia Nordin, and I am Absa.
In Kenya, 50 million hearts beat with 50 million different dreams. Some are written in boardrooms, some on track, others in our busy marketplaces, and many more in the quiet moments of a family home. Here at Absa, we've built our brand on this premise, on the foundational understanding that progress doesn't begin with products and transactions. It begins with people, their ambitions, their resilience, and the stories that span beyond what we see on their faces. Here, we don't just see customers, we see stories, and we believe your story matters. Over the past few years, we've transformed these words from a tagline to a lived reality. In moments of excellence, in arenas of discipline and determination, in spaces that reflect the country's ambition, we have shown up where our customers' passions live, proving that we aren't just a bank, we're a partner in the Kenyan dream. And that conviction is strongest on the inside. Through I Am Absa, our colleagues have moved from alignment to ownership. We show up with pride, with creativity, with belief. Because when our people own the brand leads with confidence, carrying our customers' dreams as our own. We're building a culture that our people can be proud of.
I am Absa.
We believe that a brand is only as successful as the communities where it operates. Through the Absa Kenya Foundation, we've focused on building impact that lasts, advancing sustainability, inclusion, and opportunity. From restoring biodiversity ecosystems to equipping learners with the skills of tomorrow to expanding access to finance for women, youth, and MSMEs. We are investing in the stories that haven't been heard yet, ensuring that our growth leaves a footprint of hope and opportunity across Kenya. We're building a brand Kenyans love, trust, and want to be a part of. Ultimately, our journey is not defined by our milestones, but by our customers' growth. We exist because of the dreamer, the doer, and the builder, and that's our customer. With deep-seated conviction and commitment to serve, not just with efficiency, but with empathy. Absa, your story matters.
Morning. Good morning, ladies and a few gentlemen. It's lovely to see you in the room. Thank you for joining us physically, and thank you to all of you who are joining us via live stream. My name is Seema D'Souza, and I'm also privileged to serve as the chair of the Women Network Forum, which is a structured platform to provide visibility, recognition, sponsorship, and progress. Today is actually one of those moments. Whilst at it, may I please request my Absa Women Network Forum Committee to just stand up from where they are, if you could. Great. Can we give them a round of applause? These ladies have been an absolute pleasure to work with. They've gone in above just to ensure that this agenda sits at the top of our diversity and inclusion initiatives. Thank you, ladies. So today we gather here for a powerful theme. The theme for this year's International Women's Day is Give to Gain. It forces us to ask us an important question. What happens when we intentionally invest in women? we gain stronger teams, we gain better decisions, we gain inclusive cultures, and ultimately, we gain sustainable success. I'd also like to begin by acknowledging the leadership that sits in the room, our CMC members right at the front, Elizabeth, Sharon, Elizabeth, Muihaki, Mumbi, Lydia, and I'll skip and go to Julius, and Yusuf as well, and I'll introduce the rest of the speakers as we go through the session. But before we start, I'm really privileged, and actually my work has been made very, very easy when I was sent this poem that was written by one of our team members. I believe he's in the back, being a little shy. It's a spoken word to inspire inclusion, written by our very own Kennedy Wangui, who sits within our bank assurance team. You want to just stand up and wave? Great. I hope I do this justice, Kennedy. I'm going to try really hard. Okay. She rises with purpose and carries grace with others, whilst others carry title. She carries purpose in every place. Her walk, her talk, her moves carry rhythm and tone. She enters the room not simply to be seen, but to ensure no one stands alone. Her words, her thoughts, her decisions are wise. Her presence, her essence, speaks confidence. She rise. Where others see limits, she notices worth. She opens a door for voices unheard. Where others see, she strengthens what's placed in her hands, turning vision to value, turning dreams into plans. Her greatness does not simply elevate her. It becomes the ladder that raises another. When she rises, she reaches a hand. When she succeeds, she expands the table span. When she leads, she remembers tomorrow and clears a pathway for others to follow. She knows influence is not standing above. It is creating a space where others can rise with love. Now that's what it means to inspire inclusion. She inspires possibility. She includes every voice. She influences direction, and she makes impact a choice. Her legacy travels past herself to touch communities, to touch futures, one story at a time, empowering generations. But now, allow me to reveal something. When we speak about her, we are not speaking of someone afar. We are speaking about you. The you in this room, the leaders, the builders, the vision that blooms. The you shaping the homes, shaping the markets, shaping communities. The you whose courage colors tomorrow's canvas. The you whose vision shapes vibrant victories for generations. The you whose wisdom weaves worlds of wider opportunities. The you whose passion plants powerful possibilities. The you whose leadership lights lasting legacies. Yes, this is you. Women who inspire, women who include, women who influence, women who create impact. And today, we honor you because the world grows wiser, stronger, and brighter every time she rises. And when you are thinking, is it you or her? Remember, this is you. Happy International Women's Day. That's really left me with goosebumps. I read it a couple of times yesterday and I couldn't stop reading and connecting. Thank you so much. That was really well done. So this morning is about recognition, responsibility, and renewal. Recognition of women rising, responsibility of leaders sponsoring, renewal of our commitment to building an inclusive workplace. And to set that tone, it is my honor to invite our keynote speaker. Dr. Patricia Murakami is a global leadership catalyst and the driving force behind breakthrough leadership transformation. With a career spanning over 2 decades, she has evolved from a distinguished background in finance and consulting, having served at PwC, KPMG, and Deloitte to become one of the most respected leadership educators and transformation architects in the region. Holding a doctorate in transformational leadership and governance, and as an alumna of Harvard, Wharton, Cranfield, IE's Business School, and the University of Cape Town, Dr. Patricia brings a rare blend of intellectual depth, practical insight, and strategic innovation. Her expertise and credibility have led to her appointment on several boards across the education and technology sectors. Today, she is actively shaping the future of African leadership through Rise School, the continent's first on-demand digital leadership platform designed to scale transformational leadership development. Whether engaging visionary professionals, senior executives, or global organizations, Dr. Patricia is known for her ability to challenge thinking, ignite purpose, and elevate C-suite leadership to operate at a global standard. I was also a beneficiary of her teaching, one of her students, and I must say she is very, very impressive indeed. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Patricia to the stage.
Good morning, everybody. Kennedy, I must take a selfie with you and I'll post you on my LinkedIn with that poem. Well done. A round of applause for him. A round of applause. I'd like to meet your mom. I think she did something profound. Yeah, she did. Well done. Well done. I am so excited to be here this morning. I cannot go forward before first asking the She Risers who are about to graduate to rise up. A round of applause for these incredible future-ready leaders. What a joy, what a joy. I am so proud of you. Congratulations, your moment is coming. But the moment has been coming, and they have shown up in more ways than one. I want to honor the CMC. Thank you, because many organizations say they will do something about inclusion, but it remains there. So thank you. Thank you for putting money, time, effort where it matters. And I think that it says something for us to be here just after International Women's Day, though I consider it a month for us to rise, a month for us to lift others. So please turn to the one next to you and tell them, purple, which is the color of royalty, looks good on you. Gentlemen, we are looking for the purple, but don't worry. Pinks work. Pinks also work. Pinks also work. Don't worry, guys. There's a shade there of pink, purple. It's okay. It's okay. Yusuf, Julius, I'm seeing you. Don't feel left out. The goal here is not to exclude. The goal is not to exclude. Now, I was in campus with Julius, and he continued like this. By the way you are in campus, unless it's the way you are now, and by the way, we were not in campus last year, eh? I don't want to betray my age. This morning, we are going to talk about give to gain. Give to gain. And I had prepared a deck of slides. I'm hoping that those who are on that side can see, but also because of those who are online, so that they can follow and walk with us. But I want you to turn to the one who's next to you and ask them, what does give to gain actually mean to you? What does give to gain mean to you personally? Let's have a conversation. You know, in this day and age, no matter how connected we are, the human connection is even more important. What does it mean? So did you hear what they said? When Sima was introducing me earlier, I listened to her talk about the poem, but I have also seen your growth. And thank you for that warm introduction. Giving to gain is even in the small hidden things. Giving to gain is honoring people, whether they're in the room or not. And so today, I'm going to share a couple of ideas that I hope will help you live this month, both men and women, because it takes brave women and wise men to change the world. Now, if you think about it from that perspective, giving to gain is about courage, is about contribution, and is about leadership. I used the idea that we had right through the She Rises Leadership Circle, that we are rising. And you know, I have a number of friends who do global marathons, climb mountains, repeatedly, and they're always telling me, join us, Dr. P, join us, Dr. Pat. And I say, me, my goal is to help people overcome their internal mountains, which, by the way, I think are more critical than these other ones, isn't it? So, I want you to read what's coming up on the next slide. Let's see who can read it out loudly. First of all, there's some people who are like, Ati what? How are they reading these things? First of all, a round of applause to all of you for being so brilliant. Huh? But as you can see, you actually read it right. As you see on my next one, that you actually read it right. Maybe some of you have seen it before. Maybe some of you are making. But really, how did we read it? We read it based on neurological patterns. Neurological patterns that determine how we do what we do. But this morning, I'm hoping that I can encourage you to interrupt some of those patterns that are no longer serving you well. Some of them are part of our identity. I remember when I started my career as an auditor, and I was interested in the numbers, but I was more interested in the people behind the numbers. It was a big gamble to change careers. But I think that if you receive a lot of feedback, if you reflect, and you're constantly being challenged to be more, not just to do more, maybe it's time to pay attention to that. And so a little bit about Breakthrough Leadership Transformation. I cannot believe we are 20 years this year. And thank you. And to tell you the truth, you know, it looks very glossy and amazing out there. But let me just tell you, in 2006, I was in a quagmire. I was working at Lafarge Cement as a regional resource. And I kind of just had this itch to find my purpose. And when I thought maybe I should register a company, and the lawyer asked me, what will your company be called? I said, since I need a breakthrough, let's call it Breakthrough. And that's how Breakthrough Leadership Transformation was born. It was born out of pain, born out of a lot of confusion, born out of hope that I would find what it is I was put on earth to do. And I thought, with hindsight now, that your pain, when you deal with it, can help you shed light on many others who are struggling with the same kind of pain. So I said, if I can find my breakthrough, maybe I can help others find their breakthrough. You see, a couple of countries now, 30 countries and counting. And for me, it's not so much the brands that you see on the next page, which are big brands. It is the souls behind these brands. Now, tell me a couple of personal brands you admire. Those are corporate brands. Hey, you guys are very loyal. Yes, it would be a shame to say something else, isn't it? But actually, I'm asking about personal brands. Any personal brands that stand out? Michelle Obama, any other? Okay, thank you. Any other? Wangari Maathai, thank you, Teresa. Any other? Oprah, any other? Why aren't you saying your names? Yes, thank you, Mumbi. Why aren't you saying your names first and foremost? A bit of false humility there. But let me tell you, you have a personal brand. Whether you know it or not, whether you're managing it or not, or whether someone else is determining the trajectory. Maybe this morning I can encourage you. Own that personal brand. So I did marketing as my first degree. And one of the things we are encouraged to know is that a brand is a promise kept consistently. So when I was selling wedding gowns, imagine, and I would go to Gwangju to order them, and I order a Coke, it's the same taste I'll have here in Nairobi. That's a brand that is consistent. So as we reflect on our own personal brands, maybe the question is, how consistent am I in our private, personal, professional, and public domains? And so as I was thinking, praying, and reflecting on today, I thought about what you're about to see on the next slide, the global gender gap. Can you imagine, according to the World Economic Forum 2025 report, it will take 123 years to close the global gender gap. Can you imagine 123 years? None of us will be here unless science does some magic, isn't it? Now, 68.8% is how much progress we've made from those days. And we have 31.2% remaining. And so how are we going to change this trajectory? In 123 years, perhaps our children will also not be here. In 123 years, maybe we'll be talking about even a child who's born today will not be here. So we're talking about our great-grandchildren, isn't it? So then that gets us to start thinking about leadership beyond self. Because if you can think about it that way, it changes everything. For us to be in this room, beautifully done, what a privilege. But do you know that privilege is invisible to those who have it? I used to run a program for women directors, it's coming right back, on how to elevate executive and non-executive female directors. And we took the class to one of the banks in London at Canary Wharf. And as we walked in, an Pan-African class, this old white gentleman then says, "You've come all the way to come and learn about global boards, governance, and leadership." And as he started his keynote remarks, he said, "I'm an old, white, wealthy man." And so we are like, okay, where is this keynote going? And then he says, "But I had no idea how privileged I was. If it takes African women to spend $20,000 to learn how to then get into rooms I have sauntered into, then maybe privilege is invisible to those who have it." I guess I want to ask you, which privileges do you have for us seated in this room, enjoying International Women's Day, when there's a girl from your village and a young man from your village who just wish they were us? They just wish they were us. There's a young woman at Langata prison, which by the way is known as the Kempinski of prisons. Can you believe it? And is just wishing for a visit from someone. And so I know that Absa, you have your heart in the right place. But I want to encourage you to ask, how much more can I give of myself? Because you see, when we redefine give to gain, it is not about what leaves your hands. Can you just show your neighbor your hands? And the goal here is not to compare hands and to find how hard or how I don't know what your hands are. Just look at them. Not nails, hands, palms. Just pay attention. Julius, pay attention. Many of us give of our hands, give things from our hands. And those of you who are online, I hope you are following us and that you can just be with us and just look at your hands. Today I want to encourage us to redefine giving to gain, not to be what leaves your hands, but what leaves your comfort zone. That's where the real giving is. It is not the excesses that we have, the extra time, the extra whatever. No, it isn't. Because leadership begins where self-protection ends. Actually, let's talk about self-protection. So I've been working with a lot of corporates, as you saw, and I'm fascinated at how some cultures are very much cover your back. And I was talking to one lady, and she was telling me, me, I have a backup of my emails for the last 10, 15 years. And I was like, why would you do that? She's like, because in the corporate space, there's something called selective amnesia. We met, we agreed, and then voila, you don't remember. You don't remember you committed. And I said, that's a very low trust culture, and you have to be the one to start calling in, not calling out, calling in and saying, why do we have to use so much energy in self-protection? When we spend time in self-protection, all of us have been there, isn't it? All of us have been in places where you're like, let me just cover my back. What happens is we cannot give, we cannot innovate, we cannot rise. The rising we do is temporary and superficial. So let's look at a different way to see give to gain. So there's been the traditional way that you will see there of giving resources, giving support and giving assistance. But today I want us to think about it deeply. Giving of ourselves, giving of our comfort, giving of our convenience, giving of our silence. Give up your silence and give up your ego. Yeah? Even as I was preparing this deck, I was asking myself, in March, which is the one that will cost me, that I need to start to give? Now, as women, we are competent. We know a lot, do we not? But somehow something happens when we are asked to speak up, when we are asked to lift our hands, raise our hands, when we are asked to do things that are way beyond our comfort zone. And so as you look at this picture, I want you to ask yourself, have you stayed silent in rooms that really needed your perspective? Because anytime we stay silent in rooms which need our perspective, the future becomes smaller, not only for us, but even for others. So maybe it's time to ask ourselves, are there spaces on the family front that I'm keeping quiet, staying mute, because I don't want to rock the boat? Are there spaces in my team that I should be saying something, but I am saying, life is just life. Life is lifing. Are there spaces where, you see an opportunity, but you say, no, unless I'm 100% ready, I will not raise my hand? I come from a family of only brothers, and I'll tell you the 80-20 rule really applies. Now, this one, gentlemen, I'm on your side. Take no offense. When an application is made, when an ad is put out, and women are asked, why don't you apply? A woman will say, I need to be how ready? 100% ready, isn't it? And we are encouraging you, in the work of the future, you will never be ready. Because everything is evolving faster than you can say abracadabra. But when I coach men who are getting ready for C-level, they tell me, Dr. Pat, I know I'm 20% ready. I have 20%, but the rest is learning agility. The rest is my ability to pick up as we go along. And two very competent people, the female and the gentleman. But somehow the 80-20 rule applies. The lady will need a lot of prodding and pushing, and you're already 80% ready. The man, I'm not saying you're not really ready, it's 20%, but you still apply, and guess who gets the job? So ladies, your voice matters. Your voice matters. In a couple of minutes, we'll be talking about some shifts, 3 shifts that I think we will need to take for us to rise and to give to gain in the real sense. The first shift, the identity shift. Identity shift. I would like to encourage you to move from, am I ready, to what does this moment require of me? The minute you switch gears, remember we are doing neurological hacking, you switch from, I should be ready, I should know all these things too, what does this moment require of me? Then you move from giving leadership to gaining impact. So you give leadership and you gain impact. So maybe take a moment and ask yourself, when is the last time that I got stuck in the am I ready zone? And is it time to challenge myself and say, what does this moment require of me? The second shift, the leadership shift. We've got to move from position and title, something that was alluded to a few minutes ago, to service and contribution. Leadership is not about authority. It's about responsibility to others. We've got to move from power to purpose and from status to stewardship. Now let's do a little assignment. 30 years from now, how old will you be? Tell your neighbor. Some of us don't want to say it loudly, but just tell your neighbor anyway. 30 years from now, 30 years from now, how old will you be? Some people don't even want to look at their neighbors. 30 years from now, how old will you be? Gentlemen, share with your neighbor, share with your neighbor. Okay. 30 years from now, we may or may not be working here, isn't it? 30 years from now, 40 years from now, for sure, the title we'll have is not the one you'll be having then. So at some point or the other, our identity and our leadership cannot be pegged on identity of titles. In fact, the book we read, the first book we read, my first book, Rise, there's a whole chapter of there. Who are you stripped of the titles? Stripped of the titles. And really, the power there is character power. That's the power we should be talking about. It's the one that doors will open, people will pick your calls. Because right now they are picking your calls, are they not? They're picking your calls because of what? Because you work at Absa, isn't it? In fact, when you walk into rooms and you just say, I am so and so, they're like, hi. And then you say, what do you do? Oh, I work at Absa. They even sit up. Do you watch the postures? Just to tell you how superficial we can get, right? A lot of us, and the more senior you go, the harder it is to define who's a real friend. Because most of these people are just there for the opportunity that you can provide to them. It's hard. What I'm saying, I know, is not easy. I've experienced it. And so, who are you stripped of the titles is what I want you to think about. This leadership shift will move from status to stewardship. The third shift, the impact shift. I'm excited that Teresa, CEO of Clean Start Africa, is here. She'll be talking about impact against the odds. And so I want you to think about success, which is great, to significance, which is actually more important. What is it that each of you are doing within Absa that your great-grandchild will have the opportunity to work here because of something you chose to do? Something you choose to do. You know, they say the world is changed by just a few courageous people, right? So let's move from personal gains to collective impact. It's not just about achievement. So if we can think about the 3 shifts, identity shift, which is the second one? Leadership shift. And the third one? Impact shift. Choose the one that this month you're going to focus on. And so we are moving beyond celebration. And as you'll see on my next slide, IWD invites us to celebrate progress. But I think we need to reflect on purpose. Not only who we are, but what are we building? What are we building, not breaking? Not only what we achieve, but what are we protecting? Not only how we rise, but I think this one is the one that's closest to my heart. Who rises because we did? We cannot, as the poem was so eloquently read, we cannot be the kind who rise as we step over people's bodies. We cannot be the ones who go up the elevator and jam it. And you jam it and even lock it. I know in some government offices, elevators have keys. That's for a different reason. But we cannot be the ones jamming the elevator, so it cannot go down to pick others. That cannot be us. And so how do we then overcome this self-protection and what it is that blocks us from shifting in the 3 ways? A couple of things. Competence builds credibility. Competence builds credibility. I want to encourage you to be courageous. Courageous. Is that one of our values? Courageous. Give courage. Speak when you'd rather stay silent. I remember being in a lift many years ago, and there was a lady who was blessed to have children back to back. It was a big organization, and I was a guest. I was going there to catalyze some coach and catalyze some leaders. And I was in the lift with a senior leader. And as she walked, we stopped at the floor, and as she walked in, this leader said, let's call her Jane. Jane, are you still expecting? And I was like, pardon me? And by then I was going to sign the contract, And she's flustered and she's wondering, should she get into the lift? Should she not? And then she comes in and I say, pardon me? And he says, yeah, the last time I saw her last year, she was expecting. The year before, she was expecting. I'm like, I only know elephants who are expecting for 24 months. Only elephants are expecting for 24 months. And I smiled and I said, it was hard. That could have cost me that contract, but that's okay also. Where are we silent when you should be speaking? Where are we silent when we should be speaking? Where should we volunteer when you'd rather wait? And where can you challenge respectfully? The key word is what? Respectfully, right? So check from a courage meter. The second thing that's important for us to build those shifts is trust. And you see, authority and titles is really at the top, isn't it? But truly, trust is built when no one is seeing you. Trust is built in the morning when the alarm rings. And what do? This cannot be the response. Thank you for being genuine. This cannot be the what? Now allow me to digress because that answer has got me thinking. Many of us here are sleep deprived. I can tell from your eyes. You're asleep with your eyes wide open. We are cranky when we don't rest. Like children. Children actually are cranky, isn't it? Adults are nasty when we don't rest. And we're now beginning to see in our global leadership work, especially in high-performing organizations and leaders who are rising, the whole challenge of the sleep epidemic. How many hours are we sleeping on average in this room? Just be honest. 5, 6, 4, others can't even say. Now, if you're taking care of a young child under the age of 1, or a parent who requires your insights and your care, that's okay. But for the rest of us, our ability to give so that generations will gain beyond us is determined by our personal discipline. You know that discipline is the highest form of self-respect. So let me share with you 10-3-2-1-0. 10 hours before you sleep, last caffeine. This is how to improve your sleep quality. 10 hours before you sleep, last caffeine. So if you're supposed to sleep at 10, then it means 12 should be your last coffee, last tea. 3 hours before you sleep, last meal. This idea of eating and jumping into bed, worse still, eating when you're about to sleep, literally in bed, no. 2 hours before you sleep, last drink. And of course, it's not caffeine, right? 1 hour before you sleep, last screen. Now that's the hard one. No phones, tablets. We used to say TVs in the bedroom are bad. Now we have like 6 screens, isn't it? I was telling my husband there, I have my tablet, maybe 2 phones. You have your tablet, 2 phones. This is a crowd. This is no longer a bedroom. This is a hall. Because with all these things, we really have no privacy here, right? I'm like, let's evict these guys. But frankly, if you can just try 30 minutes more of sleep tonight, another 30 minutes tomorrow. I know I can't expect you to move from 5 to 8, 5 to 7. 7 to 8 is a recommended number. And then 0 times that you snooze. I have a friend who says, me, I put my alarm to ring I snooze 4 times. I'm like, Ati, what? Why do you do that? Just wake up when you're meant to do so, or just set the alarm for the time you ultimately end up waking up. You see, when we snooze and when we betray ourselves in the moments where no one is watching, that is where acts of self-betrayal come into place. We talk about betrayal as if it's other people, isn't it? But perhaps it's us. And so today we are celebrating women of substance, not just women, right? And we want to honor substance. I encourage all of us women to be women of substance. A woman of substance leads with integrity when she's under pressure, doesn't take shortcuts. A woman of substance builds trust through consistency, even in those little things. Speaks when courage is required. Leaves places better than she found them, and does not climb over others. She also builds systems that allow others to rise. Because you see, if we rise as women of substance, generations will rise. They will rise and they will rise beyond us. So, as I get to the tail end of my time with you, a couple of summaries. Give of yourself. Give of yourself. Give of your comfort. Give of your sacrifice. Give of your voice. And give of your integrity. You see, integrity costs in the short term. But let me tell you, show me your values by showing me your Google Calendar and your M-Pesa statement. Huh? If you tell me you value family, let me just see how much you spent. When is today? 9th. How much have you spent on that family? Discretionary, not the basic things that you should be doing, discretionary amounts. If you audit your Google calendar or whatever calendar system you use, and your bank statement, it'll tell you what your values are. Values must cost us. If I value something, it must cost me something to live that value. And so as you see on this next slide, you will see we are trying to close this window. But I am also fascinated that for the first time, Muslims and Christians are fasting at the same time. Fascinating that over 60% of the world's population are fasting. So let me encourage you to fast from power. Fast from power. Fast from complaining. Fast from critical spirit. Fast from second guessing yourself. Because when we lead with humility and you lead with service, I want to encourage you, the ego decreases and influence does what? Increases. So to give to gain means we need to lift others. Give to gain as you lift others. Who's behind you, next to you, on the side, who needs you to move forward? You see, the world does not need capable women holding their brilliance and hiding it. The world needs women who understand that their voice is leadership. So, give to gain. Are there any 20s in the room? Any 20s in the room? Please rise up. Please rise up. In your 20s, first of all, a round of applause for them, because in my 20s was not in a breakfast session like this, isn't it? And there are probably others online. They can put up their hands online. For those of you who are in your 20s, I want you to give curiosity. This is the time to learn things. This is the time to learn things. Let me ask them to keep that slide off so that I can talk to them. Give your curiosity. I want you to explore boldly and learn constantly. This is not the time you're meant to know everything, but you've got to raise your spirit of service. Be the kind who will do anything that you're asked to do. I remember when they came out of campus and were amongst the top ones, and we get into KPMG, and they were teaching us how to staple the accounts. Do you remember, Yusuf? Staple them at a degree. And I was like, with my BCom, we are stapling. But I said yes. In that stapling is excellence, isn't it? In that stapling is the excellence. We would be called rugs in another farm. These new ones, the rugs. And I'd be like, I'll be the best rug of them all. Do not look down on the work that is given to you. Because when you give curiosity, you will gain direction. A round of applause for the 20s. We call the 20s the tryout 20s. The 30s, can I see those who are in their 30s? These ones, by the way, I don't know why they're usually reluctant to wake up. But I'll tell you why they are waking up slowly. I want us to keep that slide off. The ones in the 30s, these ones are called the triumphant and turbulent 30s. True? In the 30s, you're going through a lot, isn't it? Just need to tell yourself you'll get through it, isn't it? You'll get through it. The 30s are turbulent because of many firsts, isn't it? Many firsts. First, they stay up, standing. First this, first that. First child, first serious job, first big loan or mortgage, first. Lots of firsts. In the 30s, I want you to give up people pleasing. Give up approval seeking from the wrong quarters. I want to encourage you to give up that idea that you are going according to someone else's lane. Build systems to help you through in this time. The 30s and the 40s is when a lot of women leave the workplace because the demands on your personal and professional life are so heavy that you say, let me quit like a Gen Z. That should not be our experience. Yeah? I have a friend who said, let me just quit like a Gen Z. My mom has money, I'll go home. Really? Is that how we build character? That said, whatever decisions you make are personal. Build ecosystems around what it is that you're dealing with. If it's that nanny at home, pay her well. Not 2,500. Pay her well. Give her a contract. Give her a performance system. After all, she's doing the work that makes you stay here, isn't it? Build systems. Get the people around you to support you. No, the other day, and I've been married 23 years. I told my husband, you know, I don't understand why I've been doing all these things. When actually you could have helped me. And you know what he told me? Me, you look like you are okay. In fact, you look like you are enjoying this. If you don't ask, the answer will always be no. So, give up approval and people pleasing, and you will gain the courage to get through this turbulence and triumphantly. A round of applause for the 30s. If we had music, the 40s would be dancing. Let's stand. Those who are in the 40s. 40s. But then the men can stand. You're not excluded from this conversation. I don't know why they are sitting down like they don't have an age. Huh? They miss the 30s or 20s. 40s. We call it the fabulous. I've not finished. And fortified 40s. They are fabulous. We have the great parties and all that. And I'm with you. In my experience, this is a season of fortification. This is when you truly see yourself as you are. See others as they are. This is when the carpet is pulled from under our feet. And this is when we need to ask ourselves some hard questions, isn't it? So, in the 40s, give up your ego. Am I shouting? Give up your ego. Because in the 40s, because you know you can be fortified until you become hardened. That's not my prayer for you. In the 40s, give up your ego. Look at life as a school of life. The good, the bad, the ugly, the messy, the scary is all meant for us, not against us. I want to encourage you, in the 40s, build genuine friendships. Strips of the title. They'll count. Our mothers knew something. Did they not? They knew something. And they were onto something. So who are those friends who are your ride or die? The ones who know how you look without the wig. Proverbial wigs. Proverbial. Just proverbial. Yeah? The ones who, if you are sick, they could come into your bedroom and know exactly where things are. 40s are the time to do this. The 40s are important because that's when you should then invest in pay school fees for yourself. Get the coach, get the therapist. Sign up with a doctor, a physiologist, a physician who will know your history. So that when you go complaining about this, it's not coming from nowhere. You owe it to yourself to give up your ego. And when you give up your ego, you will gain influence. A round of applause for the 40s. Let us see the flaming 50s. These are others who usually are excited. You see, they've jumped up. Hey, they have overcome the 40s and the fortification, right? 50s. So the 50s, give your wisdom. Give your wisdom. You have overcome very many war zones. Don't allow the pain of that war to make you cold. Queen bee or queen key, king bee. Be the ones who give of your wisdom, who will look around the room and say, hey, the way you're going there, let me encourage you to change that. May we not also be hardened by our experience. Because in the 50s, you look back and you remember maternity was what? 1 month. 1 month. Mine was 2 months, and in those 2 months, I had to start finishing my MBA. So I went to Luakabete with my baby of 6 weeks because my marks were missing. You know how the University of Nairobi can be. But I have done 2 degrees there, and they have helped me gain in character. I want to encourage you. Give your wisdom. Don't be the ones who say, hey, it was so hard for us. Why are we making it easy for these young ones? That cannot be us. It cannot be us. For the men, continue to sponsor by speaking about women in rooms that they don't have access to. You see, when you give your wisdom, you gain legacy. So for me, I'm encouraging you. Whatever you've been through was not for your own sake. Look around the room. Look behind you. It's for the sake of all those who are here. A round of applause for those in their 50s. We call them flaming 50s because you're comfortable in your own skin. Now, anyone in the 60s? Anyone in the 60s? We don't have any guests. Maybe they're online watching with their daughters. For the 60s and 70s and onwards, give your blessing. Give your blessing because that's what will leave a mark. Give your blessing because when you do so, you gain significance. And so, on my final slide, I want to say it's been an absolute joy and privilege working with Absa. When I think about the way we should move forward, I'm hoping that these are not just events. And I know by virtue of the fact that we're graduating a class, this is not just an event. So give your best, not your leftovers. Give your voice, not your silence. Give your platform, not just your opinion. Give sponsorship, not only mentorship. Because when women rise in the room, institutions and societies rise with them. I want to wish you a prayer. And my blessing to you is my final slide. I became an accidental author. And so my question within is to ask you, who's within you who you haven't met yet? In 2020, I learned from my dad, never waste a good crisis. I wrote Rise. It was accidental. In 2021, that very dad of mine fell sick. And we were in hospital for a long time. He's getting better. But I started putting my reflections from my journal and sending them out to a friend. And she said, Dr. Pat, that's another book. And Pause was born. I started a podcast and I talked about reinvention. And they told me, why don't you convert that podcast piece into a book? That's how Reinvent was born. And then last year, I wrote Wealthy and Unlock. My prayer for you is that may you rise above the fears that hold you back. May you pause because going to the top, getting to the top of one mountain is the bottom of the next. May you have the insight and discernment to see that pausing is part of rising. May you reinvent yourself before you're forcefully reinvented. May you choose to be wealthy in the ways that truly matter. And may you unlock the person God created you to be. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
We need a moment, right? That was truly inspiring. I'm so inspired, galvanizing, such a grounded conversation. When you asked us to calculate our age plus 30, some of us said cannot compute. But I think one of the numbers that really stuck with me is 123 years. That's a lot of work that we have to do. And it's, through people like you, the She Rises graduates, everyone in this room are men who are our constant sponsors here to just kind of change the narrative and make sure that we narrow it as quickly as we possibly can. Thank you so much, Dr. Patricia. We really appreciate you. And on that note, just to kind of go through what Absa is doing from a translating beliefs into action perspective, I'm really honored to invite our Chief People Officer to stage, Mumbi Kahindo. Please give her a round of applause.
Good morning, colleagues. I don't think I should say anything. And I have a whole speech, but I think, Dr. Patricia, thank you. I remember meeting Dr. Patricia when she was doing some work at the Strathmore Business School. And you hadn't started doing big things. And as you stood there, that's the Patricia Daktari I remember. And thinking about just how our journeys, and I was taking those, as I looked through your slides, I was saying this is her journey herself, in terms of the things that you had to be courageous to step into, the lessons that you've picked along the way and now are translating to wisdom to all of us. And the fact that for every woman, and there are many of us here, when I think about Absa, every story truly does matter. And you sometimes look down upon your story and you think that it can't help someone. I was actually thinking about that. I'm saying she's challenging us to write books, and I know that everyone here can write a book. Everyone here can share their wisdom, because there is something that has brought you this far, or there are lessons that you have learned, just the mistakes that you have made that actually will become wisdom for others, and how you're translating yourself. So thank you. Thank you for inspiring us to become the better version of ourselves. To the one that I took myself is, let not my past experiences harden me, so that I make life very difficult for others behind who are coming along. Our former Chief People Officer, Rose Phillips, always used to tell us, lift as you rise. Yeah, raise as you rise. And I think for me, that's the one that I carry along. What systems, which is one of the questions you've asked, what systems are we putting in place so that others can benefit? And that's not because of the role I hold. No, that's because I'm a woman who has influence, who has a position, who is a mother, because it can be systems in your home. It can be for your nieces and your nephews. This is not a corporate call. This is an everyday how you live your life and how it is that you're going to transform lives. One of the things I'm really learning in my 50s, Fabulous 50, we have a group with my friends called Fabulous 50, and we think we are so fabulous because we are. And there's a beautiful thing about being 50, so you should look forward to that age, is that you really don't care. I'm serious. You've borne your stripes. Sorry, men, this is not for you. Maybe you care a lot, much more. Maybe the flip side of men is that they care too much when they're that age. But I think at that age, you really don't care. And you do invest in the things that really matter to you. So if you feel the need to go away, to do something, to take the pause, you feel that it's time to take your rest, you're like, everyone in the house, sorry, this is me time. And you do it without having to apologize to anyone. But I think we need to learn those kind of lessons much earlier. I have a friend of mine who I always say, I wish I had a wife. Yeah? Because their wife does everything. So I also wish I had a wife. Yeah, who does all these other things that I don't need. And the systems that you're talking about are those things that we need to actually support the women in the 30s, their first child, they are going through school, they are getting their first masters, their first home. We really need to train them how to build the necessary systems that are important for them to become successful, because we don't do that. The one question I get asked most of the times is, how did you balance life? And I tell people, I didn't. Yeah? So it's, how do you integrate the different seasons that you're going through in the different areas of your life, so that you can actually have a better, solid life that you can remember with good memories. Because some of us remember our 20s, maybe in our 30s, in tears, and you shudder. But that shouldn't be. We need to train, how do we build the right system? So the theme for me, and happy International Women's Day, ladies, and I am proud to belong to an institution that actually does not just speak the word. We have a commitment towards women. We are investing in you. We set aside funds. We fight with Yusuf and Diana around our budgets. Yes, but we need to. Yeah, not because he doesn't want to sponsor, but because we must look at the things that we need to sponsor. So Yusuf, by the way, is a great he for she, and I like him. He's one of my greatest partners in this organization. You need to know that. And I'm very happy to have a very good relationship with the CFO, because that makes life very easy, yeah, for me. So the thing that we want to see you thrive, not just in the organization, but we want to see you thrive as a whole woman. That means when you look at our wellness agenda is around different spheres of who you are, your spiritual angle. How well are you spiritually? Do you take time to pause, to rest, to reflect, to bring yourself to a place that you are grounded? Your physical wellness, are you keeping yourself fit? And I know that many of us, that's our biggest struggle. And to what Dr. Patricia was talking about, sleep is one of the things that it's a pandemic because we are not sleeping. We are not having sufficient sleep. And many of us think we are sleeping, but your mind is always running. Yeah, so you're not resting, you're not rebuilding. God created sleep so that your cells can rejuvenate and renew themselves during that time. Your mitochondria is created in such a way that it does help your cells renew themselves when you're asleep. Do we do that? So that's physical wellness. Financial wellness. Are you overburdened? Are you setting yourself goals that are actually unrealistic for where you are at in life? Are you following the Joneses instead of following who your path is? Because your path is your path. Yeah. So when we think about the wellness of a woman, for me, is asking yourself, on this day when we give to gain, when you celebrate the things that you are giving up. I like the fact that you're adding the give up so that you can gain. Give up certain things so that you can be a whole woman. And I think the world will be a great place. Absa will be a great place when we have whole women, when we have women that are actually looking towards each other to support each other. It's sad. I don't think it's true in Absa. I honestly don't think it's true in Absa that the worst enemies towards women are. No, that's not true in Absa. I think I have seen great women who are supporting each other, that we are giving up our voice, or we are giving up spaces so that other women can sit in those spaces and can rise. I actually am very proud of some of the pieces of work we did in 2025, 2024. How many of us have joined this organization in the last 24 months? Please stand up if you've joined Absa the last 24 months. Yeah. So look at these women. These are all senior women. Yeah. With the three gentlemen. No. I was going to recognize Erastas. Siwezi kukusahau. Yes. Our SME man. So I can never forget. But I look at you and I am so excited to see that I have very senior women sitting in this organization, which is our commitment. We will grow you internally. We will also go out there and seek brilliant women that can come and make a difference in the organization. Thank you for joining Absa. How many have been promoted in the last 24 months? If you've taken a promotion since the beginning of 2024, you are in a different grade. In 2023, 2024, you took up. You see, they are actually more than the ones that we have brought in. So congratulations to all of you for your commitment on your journey. And I do see people who are still getting new roles. Caroline, congratulations on that appointment. And looking at how do we build more? How do we grow more of you? So if you didn't stand for the two, the ones that I've called, 2026 is your? Yes. That is my ask of you. Give up your comfort zone. Take a lateral move, expand your experiences, gain that new skill, gain that new experience that you don't have. Look out for those opportunities that we advertise. But also, I met one of the groups, Dr. Patricia, that I'm sponsoring, and another group that Julius is sponsoring. So this was the most interesting call I received at 8 something. It was before 8. Julius calls me and says, Mombi, there is a group that presented their project from the RISE class. Can you give me an opportunity for them to come to CMC and present to us? That was Saturday. So you know yourself. That is the call that I received from Julius on Saturday morning. Him telling me that there is a team here that did a project and he feels that he really does want to give them the visibility to CMC and give them the sponsorship to actually progress with that project, to see how it can translate. And I told him, what did I tell my group? I told my group the same thing. I said, I want you guys to come to CMC. So if you have a project and you're not committed to it, just know that 2026 might become very difficult for you because we are going to ask you to deliver that project. We will sponsor you, we will support you, but actually you will have to put in additional hours. You will have to meet new people that you don't know because you have to go and create those relationships and connections in the business to deliver that project. So the projects that came from those, they are not to be put in a cabinet or in a folder. That's not what this is about. This is about you rising beyond your comfort zone. So we will look at some of those projects. So Julius and I have committed that we will find time from the CMC calendar. I can't see Albert here, but I know that Purity could be here. Someone needs to get me that calendar booking for CMC, because we will get you guys in front of CMC. That's the commitment. So the commitment is not just for you to attend a program. The commitment is for you to also have visibility. So we give you the opportunity to show up. So what did she say? Credibility, competence build credibility. So now, if you had not studied enough, if you had not done enough research, if you had not gone out there now, this is your time to double down. So that when you stand in front of the leaders of this organization, you have a good voice and you have good points that you can present to them. So I'm going to be looking forward to seeing what it is that you are going to present to us. And that's the challenge, because that's the only way you rise. Don't think about the fact that you probably 20% show up. If your research and everything gives you just 20%, come with that 20%. We will listen to it and we'll give you an opportunity for you to actually implement that which you are presenting as a project. And there are many problems in a big business like ours. So if you feel that there is a big problem that can be solved, and Abdi always challenges us. He did challenge us in the town hall on Friday to say, if there is something you know that is impacting the customer experience or our products, go to him, write to him. Write to any of the CMC members and say, I have a solution to this. That's your opportunity to rise, because you are making a difference in this organization. So I am really, really proud to the graduates. Looking forward to the celebration as you graduate. I'm looking forward to Sima coming back to me. So Sima is just become our chairperson for WNF. Don't you think she's great? Don't you think so? I was like, perfect fit for that role. And our D&I Council, are there members of the Diversity and Inclusion Council here? Please, simameni tuwaone, starting with the chair. Do you know who is our chair of the D&I Council? Who? Yes, Jigna. So the thing that the D&I Council is doing for us is to coordinate anything and everything that is diversity and inclusion. So you see WNF is plugging in there. There is PWD. We have all the other elements of our D&I agenda, and we are so happy for what you're doing. Thank you. Thank you very well, Patricia. So to all the sponsors, to all the mentors, I don't know how many women here have enrolled on mentorship on Workday. You have raised your hand to say, I want to be a mentor. You can do that on Workday. Just go on Workday and nominate yourself and say, I finished the Rises program. I actually want to mentor somebody who's behind me. And you will find that you will get many women and men from the continent. It's not just for Kenya. It gives you an opportunity to support people beyond our boundaries. So use that opportunity. You get 2 people, 3 people. I do the same. I get a few. I'm mentoring a few people in this room. But it is the fact that when you have had an experience, I think you can share that with somebody else. So I do appreciate that there is a lot we do on our day-to-day, but there is still a lot. The 123 for me always bothers me. It always bothers me. It tells me my great-grandchild, who will be female, still will be dealing with the things that I dealt with 28 years ago, 30 years ago. That's not right. It can't be not when I was in this world. There has to be something that says, because I stepped into this world, I am going to reduce that to 70. Yeah? I'm going to reduce. That's what you should be saying. It should be 70, not 123, because I'm making a difference. I always challenge the fathers, men. James, I know you're a father of daughters. Yes. Standing behind there. Peter, uko nyuma. Nawaona. Fathers, if you don't participate, remember your great-grandchildren, your daughters who are in campus today or in high school will struggle. So you must open those doors as well. You must feel the responsibility so that you can all join us in reducing that number from 123 to... People always ask, do we Do we have a pay parity issue in Absa? We don't. When we do pay for all employees, we don't look at gender. We look at competence and deliverables. So I am not paying you because you are female. No, I am paying you for the value and the contribution that you make at Absa. So please, don't ever imagine that there's somebody who comes and says the women are going to, no. So at Absa, at least I know that we've made the commitment, and over the last 10, 15 years, we've made sure that our governance structures are such that pay is not an issue where we see. Now, you can argue to say because women shy away, then they fall behind in grades sometimes, and therefore your journey is slower, but it's not because of the fact that you are female. So to everyone, I wish to take the opportunity. My boss, I know, could not come, but as I said, we have a fantastic he for she. I want to welcome Yusuf Omari to give us his keynote remarks as well. And after that, you will hand it over to our able WNF chair. Thank you, Yusuf.
Good morning, everyone. You know the way you normally say ladies and gentlemen, here I'm trying to just say ladies for the first time. So really happy to be here. And people look so beautiful, apart from a few people who did not get the dress code. So look at your neighbor and say, you look beautiful. Woe unto you if you're seated next to Julius. I don't know what happened. Same thing with Renato. I'm trying to look at Buana again is say well done to again. Pink. really colleagues, happy to be here. Dr. Patricia, very good speech. I was with Patricia in KPMG. She was speaking about stapling papers. The one I remember is being taught how to go for a proper dinner and what sticks on the left and what sticks on the right. And I remember that day up to today. So even when I go to a restaurant, I just remember. And that's day one at KPMG. So really coming very far. And Patricia, I'm really proud of your career. I saw you while we were dealing with numbers. I'm still dealing with numbers up to today. It is my zone. I love it. But I can see the calling, and really proud on what you've shared today. Guys, let's put our hands together. An amazing presentation. My colleague in CMC, Mumbi, we fight a lot. We fight, I can tell you. But it comes from a side of passion and a side of making sure that we are getting value from all the investments. So rest assured, we don't cut the budget. If anything, at times I challenge Mumbi to say, why can't we do more? So that's where we come from. Guys, you have to appreciate me at this point in time. So, colleagues, really today we are here to celebrate, International Women's Day. I thought Mumbi will give examples, live examples of what we do at the bank. When we talk about diversity, it's at the core of the strategy of the bank today. I look at our scorecard on a monthly basis. We look at it on an annual basis. And when we look at our scorecard at the end of a year, and we take this to the board, we released our results last week, even going to other different stakeholders, the issue of diversity is there. So, guess, in terms of the headcount in Absa, which gender is having the highest score? It's women. 52% of the total number of employees are actually women. Now, that was very easy for us to achieve. The true challenge comes when you start talking about leadership. Who can guess leadership? And leadership, we are looking at AVPs and above. What is the diversity there? 45%. are women, 45%. And then when you go to the board, at the board, we are 40-60, 40% women, and at the board, there are only 10 board members. So one person is what? It's 10%, needs to move. I will tell you confidently, Absa was the first listed company to have 50-50 gender balance at the board level. And so it just depends. That number changes. At the end of this year, who knows? It could be actually 60% women. So that's what I'm telling you, it's just one person. And this list goes on and on. When Mumbi does appraisals, looks at all the appraisals coming from the entire bank, there's another test she does to just make sure that there's no what? Bias. So we live on the principles that, you know, we are driving here. And I'm very, very happy. When we look at governance score last year, Fire Awards, who won it? And the CFO award on governance? Yours truly, yeah? All of it because of you. That governance is what we do in the bank. So that's not my award. I went there on your behalf, but it speaks to us living on the principles that we are developing. When you look at on the side of clients, and I'm looking at Elizabeth here, what program do we do? Women in business. Again, the first one in this industry. When you look at our suppliers, we have a target of suppliers in terms of women-led businesses. So we are actually living the principles. So we are not here just to say we are celebrating International Women's Day, but we can go back and look at data, record, and how we do our business. And you can be able to see that it is among the key principles that we use for our strategy. My personal story, colleagues, I remember when I went to campus. No, I didn't go to campus. When I was called to campus, I wanted to change the faculty at that point in time. And when I was told, you know, it is full, they've raised the cutoff and all of that, I wrote so many letters to the Ministry of Education. I wrote a letter to the Chancellor of the university, the Vice Chancellor of the university, and I also wrote a letter to the head of that faculty. And I said, I want to change my faculty. But then it was not possible. At that time, guess where I was working? Barclays Bank, which is, it's Absa. And I said, you know what? Forget about this university. Me, I'm having my job, so I'm not going to go. Then I went to the university to cancel, because then I would have been forced to pay for the loan. So when I went to cancel, and I went to Nairobi University, the Vice Chancellor's office, a lady took me to the cafeteria, bought me a nice meal, and she cancelled me completely. Up to today, I remember that lady. She told me, you don't have to lose this position. There is so much. Forget about that faculty. You don't have to go through a fixed line to be able to achieve where you're heading. Fast track that. When I was in first term, fourth year, I still had 3 months. So I got an offer letter from KPMG. I took that letter to that lady. And I told her, thank you so much. 4 years later, here is where I am. Since then, I am a board member at the university. I've tried looking for this lady. I have not gotten her. But I can just tell you the influence, the power that women bring to our families, to our places of work. And it's not by surprise that when you bring diversity, even at our board level, you get so many ideas. It's not one kind of thinking, because I remember I've been a board member in the bank for quite a number of years. And when we brought this gender balance, the ideas are quite unique. today in CMC, there are quite a number of ladies who are super vocal. Where is Christine Moy? Again, is even pointing here. So in CMC, we have a new boardroom. I hope everyone has been able to go to that boardroom. At the edge of that boardroom, that seat is reserved to the most vocal person. And guess who is occupying that seat? Christine. Then there's another vocal lady who came as well. Where is Miyaki? See? Let's clap for these ladies. Huh? So vocal. Yeah? Unbiased feedback. Challenge. I'm so glad. You know, people sit, when you come to CMC, people look at, you know, the CEO, the CFO, the CRO to be making noise. Nowadays, we keep quiet. Some people are doing that very, very well. So really happy to be here, colleagues. When I look at from an entrepreneurship perspective, research has shown that 90% of the total revenue of women-led businesses are invested back into the family in terms of education, health, whatever investments that you're looking at. And so developing the women agenda, you can imagine the impact it basically having, you know, in the respective families. To the She Rises graduates, I know you've been given a lot of advice today. Are you guys feeling empowered? I only have one advice. Look at the grouping, your friends that you spend most of your time with. Look at that. Make sure, I know we talk of mentorship. At times you think of mentorship as going, sitting down with your mentor, being advised. What if it can be a continuous mentorship? Look at the people you spend time with, be it on a daily basis, be it during you know, your weekends, your holidays, etc. At home, you get the advice from your spouse. That's fine. But the people you spend your time with, that really matters. I spend my time with a group of 9 people. All of them are CEOs, apart from myself. So you can imagine the amount of advice I'm getting on a continuous basis from this group. From our neighbor here, all the way to the top of the house, the State House. Those are the people I spend time with. People who are more successful than you, people who can really help you. Those are the people you spend time. So the graduates, I know you've been given a lot of advice. If there's one advice I'll give you, look at the people you spend time with. Let them be the people who are encouraging, advising. They become the second ear when you're in doubt, when you want any input. I think for me, the conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, just one nice write-up I picked up today, which says empowering women is not about giving women a seat at the table. It is about ensuring the table itself is built to include everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Yusuf. I'm going to come to you to get contacts of those 9 people that you hang out with, and I hope that they're banking with Absa. On a light note, thank you so much for actually showing us how practically we bring this to life within Absa. The board members that sit, the leadership that sits with us as well. Those are real active moments within our journey to narrow the 123-year gap that we have. Now, I'd like to move on to the moment of recognition. Dr. Patricia said your moment will come, and that moment is now here. So what we're going to do today is we're going to recognize recognize the ladies, the lovely ladies who are graduating today from the She Rises program. which is a program undertaken by Dr. Murugami under the Breakthrough Leadership and Mentorship Circle, designed to support women across the organization as they strengthen their leadership identity, expand their influence, and prepare for the next stage of career. In fact, Dr. Patricia, you kind of delivered a very condensed version of that program to us just this morning, and we really appreciate it. So today, what I would love to do is invite the She Rises graduates to come up on stage. You will see your name, just come up and stand up. And at the same time, if I could request Dr. Patricia to come along with Yusuf and Mumbi, just to stand in the front as we get them up. So you'll come up on stage, you'll get your certificate, and we can have a quick photo moment as this happens. Can we get the names on the screen, please? All right, so we start off with Caroline Washera. Welcome. Just take your... Elizabeth Wambua. Naomi herself. I did not know this, Naomi. Well done. Caroline Wairugu. Christina Denga. Catherine Deritu. Esther Kilu. We're going to take the photos right at the end, so if you could all just line up, we'll take one group photo. Florence Munini and Gladys Peter. What you can do is hand out the certificates over here, and everyone, if you could just kind of line up, and we'll take one group photo, and then we'll take individual photos later. Yes, just come up with your certificates, yeah. Caroline Gakahu. Evelyn Osinde. Irene Washira. Well done. Caroline B. Gloria Chepmgweno. Jacqueline Mukeku. Josephine Chepkoech. Irene Wandati. Keep the claps coming. Lori Bweyenda. Joyce Wanjiku. Lydia Kiende. Monica Mayo. Claps shouldn't die, guys. Keep the claps going. Mary Muyuro. Ngina Karungu. Nerea Osinia. Patricia Mburu. Penina Pamba. Yeah, come to the front. Ann Kithinji. Ann Kinyanjui. Are we all going to fit on the stage? Antonina Oyenga. Annie Mwangi, Beatrice Okungu, Bernadette Kimondiu, Audrey Atenia, Caroline Mungai. That's it? Is that it? Okay, guys, if you can try and squeeze in together. And then if we can have Dr. Patricia, Mumbi, and Yusuf right in the middle of the picture as well. You guys are looking lovely in your black, purple, and gold. Dr. Patricia and Yusuf, could you come in the front so that we can get you in the middle, please? There's some people who are going to come in the second round. So this is the first round. Okay, this is the first round. Guys, we're going to do this again. So we have to be really efficient next time. Look at the camera. Everybody smile. Let's give it up for the ladies. Clap again. Woo! All right, guys, thank you very much. Yusuf, Patricia, Mwambi, if you could continue standing on stage. All right, can I ask for Alice Gikera, if she's here, Jerry Kinia, Lynette Muriungi, Wanjiku Gakondi, Margaret Bergen, Lily Washira, Rose Mutai, Laura Cheriot, Lea Givinji, Phyllis Wabi, Lula Wamoto, Lynette Ambenge, Teresa Mugira, and Irene Wanda. Okay, same drill. Camera. Fantastic. Thank you. Congratulations. Well done. Well done to you all. Thank you. Thank you, Yusuf. Okay. That was really lovely to see. Ladies, you look fabulous, and this was your moment. I'm glad you owned it. Thank you very much. So this year, in addition to following through with the She Rises graduates, we're really excited as the Absa Women Network Forum to bring you 3 additional awards. I'm sure you saw something circulating for the last 2 weeks around nominating individuals who have strived for excellence within this agenda. And so we are so happy to introduce 3 awards. The first one is the Rising Star Award, recognizing outstanding women under the age of 30 who are demonstrating exceptional potential and leadership early in their careers. At least we established we have 120-year-olds, so there could be one that actually meets that. The Pathmaker Award honors women who challenge and reshape systems, creating more equitable opportunities for others. And finally, the Leadership Legacy Award, celebrating leaders whose impact is reflected in the growth and advancement of other women. Now, the selection process really wasn't easy, and I think to do that justice, I really have to call one of the judges from our judging panel to actually talk you through it. But before I do that, let me recognize the judges themselves. So acknowledging Mary Gerbert, sitting in Mombasa, was one of our judges. John Kamau, right here with us. Lydia Karanja, again right here with us. And Tim Koskei from the Mount Kenya region. And to take us through the judging process, I'd like to invite John Kamau to stage.
Thanks, Ima. By the way, this was a very good coincidence. I managed to wear purple on this day. That one purple shirt that I bought finally paid off. Yusuf didn't get the memo, but Yusuf, don't worry, I've represented you. You know, when you were mentioning something about fighting with Mombi, the cameraman was zoning in on me. I am in finance, but I'm not the one who fights with Mombi. And very interesting insights coming through. Who knew you can get so much insights just hanging around beautiful ladies? And one thing that I've learned is the flaming 50s. People just don't care. That explains a lot, eh? My lovely mom is in her 60s now, but it explains why in her 50s, she never used to bother calling me back. I would call her, she would find a missed call, she'd be like, flaming 50s. But now she calls me back, so I guess it comes back. So the process that we followed, we had a number of nominations, and I must say, we have no shortage of talent within Absa. Quite a number of nominations coming through. Under Rising Star, we had 19. Under Leadership Legacy, which was the last one, we had 16. And then under Pathmaker, we had 31. So give it up for all the people that were nominated. All right, and now on to the award piece. So I will ask Julius. Julius, are you in the room? To come on stage. He will award the certificate to the Rising Star. Then maybe you can be preparing for the Pathmaker, and then I'll call Yusuf on stage for the Leadership Legacy Award. So the person that came up in this category, she's a founder and chair of the Ris Baraza, leader in Young Leaders Council and Women Network Council, represented the bank at the One Young World. Hey, you think you know things, eh? Demonstrates learning agility, enterprise leadership, fairness, and strong advocacy for youth and women inclusions. Any guesses for who that is? Jedida Rakwal. Congratulations, Jedida. Well done, well done. Thank you, Julius. Mombi, you can join me on stage for the Pathmaker Award. So the colleague that came up tops on this category, pioneer for women in technology, founded and championed women in technology and Girl Code initiatives, expanded access to tech skills in marginal regions, and built sustainable female talent pipelines into IT. This one I'm sure you can't guess, eh? Can you? Oh, you can, eh? Okay, who is it? Olive Moko. Congratulations, Olive. Thank you, Mombi. Yusuf, you can also join me on stage for the last award, the Leadership Legacy Award. The lady that I'm describing, transformational leader for women in business ecosystem, that already gives it away. Mentors and sponsors colleagues, creates market access, international exposure, peer networks, and well-centered leadership support. builds sustainable entrepreneurial and leadership pipelines beyond the bank. Any guesses? Who is it? Joyce Wanjiku. Congratulations. Wow. Wow. Excellent. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. I hope you've garnered a lot of insights from this session. I personally will be taking the one insight that I'm going to try and work on. There were 10 hours before you sleep, last caffeine. 3 hours before you sleep, last meal, 2.5, 2.5, I think I'm doing well there. 2 hours before you you sleep, last drink. 1 hour probably, okay. I need to improve there. 1 hour before you sleep, last screen. Okay, mine I have bedtime mode. So maybe I'm doing well there. And then 0 times the number you should snooze. There's a lot to work on there, let me just say that. Thank you, and back to you, Sima.
You could always count on John for a little bit of comedy. Thank you so much, John. That was very insightful, if I can call it that. Congratulations to the awardees. Brilliant performance, and honestly, some of the voting that I saw, towards the end is just a testament of how you guys are doing such amazing things. There were such obvious choices, so you're really going all out, and well done. And I almost feel like Joyce needs a picture with Elizabeth at some point, because Elizabeth has also been leading that initiative, and Elizabeth, thank you for your leadership in that space as well. So finally, and I'm really sorry that we're running a bit late. I just request for 20 minutes of your time. Our theme today, as was stated, is Give to Gain. And we are reminded that when we invest in others, we strengthen communities, organizations, and futures. And I think Dr. Patricia had already kind of alluded to her before, but one of the organizations that truly embodies this principle is Clean Start Foundation, which works to restore dignity and opportunity for women rebuilding their lives. Please join me in welcoming Teresa Njoroge, who is the CEO of Clean Start Africa and the founder. She is an internationally recognized social entrepreneur, human rights advocate, transformational leader dedicated to advancing justice, equity, and sustainable development across Africa. As a CEO and founder of Clean Start, Teresa has pioneered innovative solutions that empower justice, impacted individuals, particularly women, children, and youth, to rebuild their lives with dignity and economic opportunities. Her work bridges the intersection of criminal justice reform, gender equality, and sustainable economic development, creating pathways for marginalized communities to thrive. Through Clean Start, she has demonstrated that investing in second chances yields powerful returns, not just for individuals, but for families, communities, and entire economies. She convenes the annual Beyond the Bars conference, bringing together leaders from government, civil society, corporates, faith-based organizations, and grassroots networks to chart sustainable solutions for the reintegration of formerly incarcerated women, address the root causes of poverty, criminalization, and advancing gender equity. Founding patron of Sisters Supporting Sisters, the Pan-African Coalition Amplifying the Voices, and agency of formerly incarcerated women. Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot. Teresa, welcome.
Thank you. On there. Happy International Women's Day, Absa 2026. It is such a great honor and such a privilege to be at Absa this morning. I actually am overwhelmed by a bit of nostalgia because Absa was then Barclays, was my last assignment before I left banking into the social entrepreneurship space. At that particular time, I worked with the Premier Banking. So it's a full circle moment being back here and to see a bank that's truly leaving the purpose around empowering women and remembering that, you know, we cannot move forward with half the population. We need everyone in the room. And what great statistics to even hear about those who are in leadership. It's truly a pinching moment. Sima was my first boss when I got into banking. Wow. Today is that day, you know, to come back and reconnect this way. So good to see you again, Sima, and congratulations on your growth over the years. Yes, so as you've heard, my name is Teresa Njeruge. I am honored to lead a social enterprise called Clean Start Africa. Why Clean Start? I'll be very quick. So how I left banking was a bit unceremonious. I happened to handle a fraudulent transaction unknowingly. I know, the worst thing you want as a banker. And that transaction led to a malicious prosecution that led to a false incarceration. And I served a year sentence at Langata Women Maximum Prison, accompanied by my then 3-month-old daughter. Very long story, because since then, about a decade ago, I not only used that experience, because I eventually got cleared of any wrongdoing, finally got compensated by the government, and everything was, you know, corrected. But by that particular time, I had truly gone through the entire journey of the criminal justice system in this country, and you continue to use that story and that experience to, one, help others still sitting in those seats where I was. How do you avoid fraud? How do you make sure that you're always safeguarding what's happening within the bank, even when you're doing the right thing? Because the prevention starts with us, you know. So lots to talk about there, but for another day. When I got cleared, after that first-hand experience of witnessing the injustices that women, girls, youth go through our justice system, is when I set up Clean Start, to give myself a clean start, but also to give millions in this country a clean start. But over and above that, to work with the criminal justice actors, be it the national police, be it the prosecution, be it the judiciary and correctional institutions in this country, to reforming and rethinking how we could offer more justice, and also how we could prevent many vulnerable people from going through that process. Because at Clean Start, we believe that poverty is not a crime, and we need to use a social economic empowerment lens for us to uplift. I love what Dr. Patricia talked about, you know, lift as you climb. Incredible, because when I set up Clean Start, I had a founding executive board, but soon thereafter, we had to put in our structures to run this organization. And Dr. Patricia volunteered of herself to be the founding governance chair of Clean Start, where she served her entire term with Renee Ngamau, Helen Devane. And as Dr. Patricia was putting up, you know, that presentation and giving us such great insights, everything that Dr. Patricia has shared, she literally lives it. We truly honor you, Dr. Patricia, because you have really supported as a Clean Start to not only grow our governance, but also in accordance to the theme this year, give to gain. You've really lived it. You've given access. You've given voice. You did not remain silent when you walked not just into the correctional facilities, but also when you came to Clean Start and saw what needed to be done to lift the many in this country who need the opportunities. So truly, you're walking the talk. Thank you, Dr. Patricia. Again, we honor you. I had a PowerPoint. Yeah, there we go. Thank you. So Clean Start, creating second chances, making first-class impact. I know we've run out of time, so I'll really be quick. While serving that 1-year sentence, it truly opened my bias lens, because I had gone in with this notion of they don't belong in my WhatsApp group. I mean, you can imagine, you've walked out of Absa right into at correctional institutions, I mean, the people you're finding there, you truly feel you do not relate. But within that 1 year, my eyes had truly been opened to, from the perspective and the lens of buyers to a lens of empathy and understanding their pathways into the correctional institutions. 70% of these women never had a first chance at a job. I can't remember who came up here and said that someone in your village is sitting and waiting for an opportunity. Just a hand. Probably it could be a scholarship. It could be an opportunity to get a job someplace. It could be mentorship, and mentorship has been spoken about a lot here today. Mentorship does a big deal. But I love what Dr. Patricia has talked about. It's not just mentorship, it's also sponsorship. That means a lot. So we're looking at close to 1 million women sitting behind bars just looking forward to those kinds of opportunities. So when I set up Clean Start, came up with 3 solid pillars to be able to offer the solutions that we offer. The first pillar is around dignified rehabilitation, because I did not find quality, strong programs running in the correctional institutions. And so we developed our own rehabilitation program, and I'm so proud to say that the Correctional Institutions Kenya Prison Service in this country has adopted and taken the program the Clean Start provided, that's now being offered in women prisons across the country. We then developed the re-entry pillar, because this was the most painful part. You can imagine you're sitting in prison and you can't wait for your day out of that place. And a woman is crying, she doesn't want to leave. And the place she doesn't want to leave has taken away her dignity, her esteem. She's a shell, but she's still crying to stay behind bars. And soon I came to understand that it's because they do not have opportunities on the outside. On that very day, she's asking, what will I eat? Where will I sleep? Where do I begin? And she'd rather be in her comfort zone where she's got shelter. So we set up re-entry pathways, and that's our second pillar. It's the largest one across the country, where we receive these women and girls, and we set up businesses for them. We connect them to scholarship opportunities to continue with education, ICT hubs, and other opportunities that continue to give them decent means of livelihood. The third most powerful pillar is the systems change, because it doesn't matter how many people you empower, as long as the system continues to be the same. Today, as we sit here, they'll still continue picking the mama mboga, the hawkers, those who don't have opportunities, and taking them behind bars. So we're working very closely with the criminal justice actors to see to it that we do not continue criminalizing poverty in this country. Now, very quickly, under the first pillar, the Ufunuo program, the rehabilitation system, these programs that I have listed here, the first one, the Ufunuo program, this is the one that deals with the inner visioning, the restructuring of the mind to get them to a point where they are now visioning forward and thinking about what life could be, were it not for the poverty situation that they find themselves in. We train them in positive parenting, because 90% of the mothers behind bars, 90% of the women behind bars, unfortunately, are mothers. But the most painful part is they are mothers and the sole caregivers of their children. So when mom leaves today, her children are left by themselves. And so Clean Start works to ensure that those children continue schooling, but most importantly, that it was very necessary for mom to go behind bars. And if not, can she get an alternative rehabilitation program on the outside? The Hannah's Gift is the one that takes care of their spiritual grounding. It's a Christian program. Several skilling programs. It could be hair, beauty, it could be textile, it could be culinary. Something, you've got to leave prison with a skill. And then the certificate of release, because remember, they will never get a certificate of good conduct. But the certificate of release supports Clean Start to be their reference points wherever it is that they'll go to rebuild their life. The re-entry pathways, we've got the Clean Start Africa Academy. So this is where they come to continue to hone their skills, leadership, You know, this is where they also continue to relate with the outside. It's been many years being outside of the normal way of surviving. This is where they begin to deal with cash, because in prison you do not deal with cash. So at the Africa Academy, Clean Start Africa Academy, they're being retrained on how to socialize again. And then we've got 100 chapters across the country. These are the groups, so they are the cohorts of people across the 47 counties who've been through our program, and we invest in each chapter. We've got the Clean Start Africa Sisters Supporting Sisters SACCO. This is their savings and loans, which also forms the movement. And we've got an incredible soccer hub. We've got two of our ladies who are here. Thank you so much for the opportunity for them to exhibit. So if you have some time, you could pass by and see what they make. And we support them to get markets for this. Under the systems pillar, which is the next slide, which is the third pillar of how we do our work, is policy shift, review of laws, because unfortunately, we still have the laws that were left by our colonizers still sitting in our statute books. Clean Start works with lawyers and other agencies to see to it that the laws in Kenya are updated to suit Kenyans for a modern day Kenya. And then advocacy campaigns where we ensure that we're not addressing our youth harshly, criminalizing them, but truly looking at them as powerful youths who need a helping hand and opportunities. Proof in progress, the numbers, 10,000 women have been through our programs across all the correctional women institutions. 700 of them are now well situated within our business opportunities. 4,000 today have got decent means of livelihood through the various funding opportunities that we have gotten, so they're economically sufficient. 900 have been through our well-being Hannah's Gifts program, and 100 groups across the country, each with a minimum of about 20 women. The Clean Start Africa Academy, this is, I spoke about this, is where they continue to have training, social economic empowerment, and what they're getting when they come on the outside, chapter governance, because they have to govern their chapters. You know, each group has their chair, treasurer, secretary, and they've got to continue learning how to govern themselves. And you know, this explains what a chapter is and how these groups continue to manage themselves. But just before we move from this group, so these groups, while they might have initially begun as for formerly incarcerated women and youth, now we're absorbing others within that demographic across the counties who have not been through the criminal justice system, but as a means of preventing them from going through that entire system. The shortcut, join a group and you will get empowered within those groups. So we're looking forward to them continuing to grow. Sustainability, of course, we began 100% donor funded, but you've got to really think about how do you sustain your work, especially with what has just happened over the last 2 years when it comes to the funding ecosystem. So sustainability is a very key area and aspect of our work. 30% of our annual budgets come from the economic businesses that we run within Clean Start. And we've got some that are established. Our offices are currently at Ridgeways, where we've got all these businesses set up. You're most welcome during your free time to pay a visit and see what the women are doing there. The SACCO, yes, we're very big on savings and loans. And while they start without any opportunities, according to the research that we have done, a woman at a point of arrest was earning around 300 bob per day. Now they're making about 2,000 shillings a day. So with my banking skills, I had to show them, how do you save? How do you take loans? How do you continue using this resource amongst yourselves to grow each group? So this is coming on very well. But you're most welcome, you know, to see how we could strengthen and further these communities. So we've got quite a number of partners. You know, we cannot do this by ourselves. These are some of the great partners who have already invested deeply and heavily towards seeing that this work continues. And for that, we're very grateful. Africa Guarantee Fund, for example, just recently gave us some funds to go towards the chapters and the businesses. And on the next slide, I show you how over and above cash, you know, other things we're looking at are digitizing this program so that they can go not just across Kenya, but even across the continent. Leadership training, you know, whatever expertise that you have, these trainers of trainers and the groups are always looking for ways to get either certified training, mentorship, whether it's inside or on the outside, and then of course investing in the business hubs and the ICT hubs. And give to gain. Why? Because then we continue to create safer communities, stronger families, and a more just world. So we need your cash, we need your time, we need your voice, we need your access. Were it not for Dr. Patricia, I do not think that Clean South Africa, for instance, would be walking into an Absa IWD event. But that's just how powerful the voice, your access, makes a difference, and the network. So thank you so very much. And in conclusion, thank you so very much. Happy International Women's Day. Continue truly walking the path of truly being diverse, being inclusive, because it makes all the difference when you carry these people along with you. Very well done, and thank you, Patricia, for having us.
I think you can stand on stage. So I'm sure you've all been aware that over the past few weeks we've been collecting things for the ladies that have gone through Clean Start and you know, need all the support that we can get. So what we have for you is just a small demonstration of what has been collected by our teams across Absa. I have just been informed that there's an anonymous donor that's dropped off an entire bedroom set in our parking lot. So that will also come to you. And can I request the leadership, please, Yusuf, Mumbi, Renato, James, Sophia, Sharon, Elizabeth, Mwihaki, to come up on stage, Mumbi, just to present the donation to Triza. Yeah. And just for your information, this collection will be ongoing for this entire month. In addition, we will be running a fundraising activity, and you'll get details as a whole Absa team. So there's still more to come. This is just the start. Yeah. All right, so what we've collected so far are various household items, lots of books, dry food stuff, furniture, like we said, clothes, handbags, shoes. There are also some dignity packs that you can kind of contribute to. There is an account number that we will share details of, and Mumbi will share that just so that you're able to capture it and send through donations to that. And this, like I said, is just a small token. Yusuf, you wanted to say something as well?
Yeah, I think we were just, we always speak about our foundation. And we have 4 pillars there for the foundation. So there is entrepreneurship, there's education, environmental, and then humanitarian. So I think just commitment from the CMC that we will do something from the humanitarian as well.
I think for me to say thank you to everyone who contributed to the Christmas, where we did shilling for the children's home for the disabled. Now we are going to open that same account. So if you have your phone, I want you to write the account number. It's an Absa account, so there will be no costs. I know this is the month of March. There is something that's about to happen. Yeah? So please, guys, the first fruits, you know those ones who follow the Bible, first fruits. So the account number that we will deposit to this initiative is 205-370-1240. So I'm reading that account again. 205-370-1240. Please send your donations so that we will tie that up with what the foundation will give. It's a worthy cause for all the women and the youth. I like the preventative part of it. We need to stop the girls going to jail. Yeah, so as much as we can, that's what we should do. Thank you very much.
Okay, we also have Dr. Patricia who'd like to just make a comment as well.
First of all, let me just say, my height is usually supported. And then now there'll be a different story. First of all, I'm excited to be here with my risers, Christine, Moihaki. These are alumni. This guy is feeling left out. You're also a riser. Let me stand here. How are you? Imagine 2 decades ago. You know, someone mentioned something to me that I've been thinking about. And Teresa, it's such a full circle moment. The first thing that I learned when I joined Clean Start Board is that you can be in an invisible jail. A jail out of resentment, a jail that you don't forgive. And today, you being here, full circle from where it began, is a lesson to us that maybe we are out here, but you're not free. You're holding resentment, you're not forgiving, you're wishing the people who hurt you ill and their generations to come. And so, Teresa, thank you for being here. Absa, thank you, because it also shows that you are way above many corporates who would say never, 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 even when whatever happened was not meant to happen. I felt it was important to honor you, all of you as a leadership team, Clean Start Africa, and for all of us. My mom keeps saying, don't drink poison, hoping that person will die. First we will die, isn't it? So that's why it was important for me to say, well done. Leadership is forgiveness. And maybe this 2026 IWD, maybe the call is give forgiveness. Well done.
I think we can just have Dr. Patricia back as well. We have a token of appreciation for both Teresa and Dr. Patricia, just to say thank you. Do you guys feel inspired today? It is due to these lovely ladies. Thank you so much. And maybe I can ask Sophia, would you like to hand this over to Teresa, please? And James, would you like to give this to Dr. Patricia, please? Once you stop fighting, yeah. Thank you both. So if we can all just have a quick photo moment right up on the stage, if you could just look at the camera for a quick smile. Much. Okay, and in light of the spirit of giving to gain, we also have women who have been empowered through Absa who are displaying their wares throughout the day here in head office. So we have some in the tent outside, and then we also have some ladies in the cafeteria, please do take a moment to just walk around. Support starts here with us, so just take that opportunity as well. All right, and that brings us to the close of International Women's Day and the celebration. Sorry, this never ends because International Women's Day is a continuous activity, and I just wanted to say thank you so much for your time, both online and those that are physically present. Anthony, thank you so much for your beautiful, in fact, I feel like going back to that. I feel like going back to that. Kennedy. And just kind of read out the last statement. And today we honor you because the world grows wiser, stronger, and brighter every time she rises. And when you're thinking, is it you or her? Remember, this is you. Happy International Women's Day. Thank you so much. For those physically here, there is breakfast being served as well.